So, do you want to just explain who you are and what you do at Changes to begin with?
Yeah, my name's Kris. I'm currently an IT and data manager. Don't ask me to fully explain what that involves. But obviously, it's looking after computers, do some of the social media on the adult side. You obviously do the young person side. Um, I'll look at when everybody fills in the forms for the sessions that they attend. It all goes onto a system called Charity Log. I help to maintain and look after that.
And could you just explain to everybody how you got involved with Changes, like what your first contact with Changes was?
Okay, it's near coming up to 11 years ago. It was suggested I attend Changes peer support groups. I'd had some therapy with, I'm not 100% sure who it was. I wasn't in a particularly good place at the time when the therapy started. I think, looking back, I think it was what became the Healthy Minds Network. I think it was with somebody from there, but they came out to do home visits back then. So I had some therapy and they helped me. And then obviously when I'd finished the core therapy, they suggested I get involved with Changes. So I looked online, found some information, and then I attended a peer support meeting. It was held at Birch Terrace back then. It used to be the Changes office back before it moved to Victoria Court in Stoke. It took me about 4 weeks to work up the courage to go along to the first meeting. Obviously, I had no idea what to expect when I went there, but it was friendly. It was useful. Before this recent tranche of therapy, I'd tried counselling with a different organisation, but that hadn't particularly worked for me at the time. I think part of it was there'd been a 6-month wait between being referred for counselling and actually getting counselling, and when the actual time came for it, I wasn't in the mood for it. So I found like the fact that you could just go along to these peer support groups for change is quite useful. There was different options to go to, but what I found most beneficial and most useful was it wasn't just me. That was the part that was bothering me quite heavily. It was, why am I feeling like this? I was feeling quite defeated, quite low, a bit of a loser really. I was thinking, why? There's nothing particularly bad going on in my life. Why am I feeling like this? Why do I behave in such quite destructive manners at times? But then I found that the fact there's other people in the room with similar experiences, it was quite empowering in a way. It's, so I said, it wasn't just me. I didn't need to belittle myself too much. I thought that was quite a useful step along the way. And from there, the peer support, I attended some of the workshops, so recovery workshops, making changes workshops. Again, just trying more information for myself really to find out what was going on with me at the time. So that I like to read and I like to find out things. So just education, I think, is quite important. So they were quite useful. And then I started the OCN, Open College Network course, which is a training course for volunteers that Changes do. In all honesty, at that particular time, I didn't intend to volunteer for Changes. Again, it was just one of these self-education aspects to find out more about what was happening with me. But I ended up volunteering. I ended up doing some peer support groups, primarily we used to have called a Positive Years service back then. It was an older person service for age 50 plus. So I volunteered on there. So I ended up doing a few peer support meetings. And then a bit later on, I got involved as a trustee. So I was part of the executive committee of Changes. And while we were as a part of the trustee, we started taking the decision to sort of change from just a registered charity to a charitable company, just try and help protect the charity if we needed to, and that led to a name change. So we used to be called Changes 12 Steps to Mental Health. Obviously, we now Changes Health and Wellbeing. So that was part of my time on there. And then I was lucky enough to get a job with Changes, and that was with volunteer support. So it was try and support and help and recruit volunteers to get engaged and involved with Changes and different aspects, whether it be workshops, office support, and peer support groups, and anything else that was necessary. But from then, my role is gradually drifted. There are different elements, sort of. That's like changes as changes for a reason. Things never stay the same. So from volunteer support, we had another go at another 50 plus service. So we became involved with that. And again, funding ran out for that. So I got involved with, again, more IT aspects and started helping with some funding aspects and tenders, working with Dave, the CEO. So yeah, the job has changed and the role has changed quite considerably to what it is to now. Anybody around Victoria Court will probably see me floating around from time to time, but I am primarily work in the background, and I do help all the staff and volunteers with whatever they need. And I do think I am quite a point of contact for anybody who's got any questions about anything really. So I do like to think I do help out in that way. So yeah, that's pretty much my journey. Like I say, from the days of peer support groups, I'd say Changes to me is a bit of a family and everybody involved in it. And say, even though I don't attend peer support meetings now, I still do try and practice the 12-step ethos and the recovery program. And I just know that there is support there if I need it, if and when I need it.
Amazing. Yeah. So some more light-hearted stuff now. So what is your favourite band or artist?
Favourite band is Queen. I started listening to them as something, I think it was part of how I was growing up. And in 1991, Freddie died. It was in the news a lot and the music was being played. And I think it just sort of imprinted on me at the age I would have been 12 at the time. So it sort of imprinted on me at that time. So they're by far my favourite musicians and bands, but I do listen to a lot of different music, depending on where my mood is really. So yeah, Queen, some days I'll listen to classical music, some days I will go on to like thrash metal like Sepultura and White Zombie and that sort of stuff. It just depends where my brain is at a time and what I feel it needs. So again, all the days it can be 70s, 80s rock. So quite a mixed.
And when would you feel the need to listen to thrash metal?
I quite like it sometimes. It's just something it's a noise you can sort of bury your head in, and some of it is quite an infectious music.
It feels so angry to me.
And maybe that's what I need at that time.
Yeah, good. Okay, so the next one is, what is your favourite TV show? And I think that's quite a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, this is going to be depending on where my brain is at a particular time, I think. I think my all-time favourite TV show is The West Wing.
Ooh.
It's just brilliantly crafted, well written, some amazing characters in there. And I think, given, again, this is my political sort of slant on it, I think it's a cleaner view of politics as to what it is now in the States. But it is, Aaron Sorkin is a brilliant writer, and the cast is absolutely amazing. It's such a good series. But I do fall back onto all the different series. Again, if you say what's your favourite one, is one that I think you watch over and over again. I do find the sort of adulty cartoon Archer. I like to go back and watch that every now and then. It's just funny. And I can go back and spotting new jokes in there from time to time. but yeah, it varies a little bit. But say West Wing and Archer, I suppose, are my two favourite TV series.
Amazing, very different. Okay. I've never watched either. Are you watching any good things now? Any box sets, any series, anything that we should definitely go and watch?
Whether you definitely need to go watch it is a different matter. I'm currently finishing binge watching Criminal Minds. It's sort of based around, it's called the Behavioural Analysis Unit, the BAU. So it gets in the minds of serial killers and psychopaths. It's something that I know that you would like, Megan.
Yeah, defo.
So yeah, it's been a long running TV series. I did watch it when it first started running, but like anything, it's ran for 15 years. It has just finished now. So I'm now up to about series 13. So I've nearly finished it.
15 years.
15 years, yes.
That's a bit longer than a series.
It's a long running series.
Oh my god.
Yeah, some American series run for a very long time, much longer than some of the UK ones. But yeah, so it's on series. I'm on series 13 now. And I'm thinking when I've finished that, I'll probably go try and finish Supernatural again. It's some show that I used to watch. I know it's winding up now, so it'll be a good time to go through and do a start to finish run with it. Again, that's 15 years, 15 series as well. So
I love a good binge.
Yeah, so Criminal Minds take me about 4 months to get this far off and on. So
that's not as long as I would think it would take, actually.
I do binge.
Wow, that is serious binging.
Yeah.
Amazing. What was your favourite subject in school and why?
It was history.
That does not surprise me one bit.
I just find it interesting learning about where we came from, really, and everything that happened in the past and how we've built on it to get where we are today. I do believe we should learn from history. I know that's something that doesn't always happen, but no, I enjoyed it. I still do.
Yeah. Well, I wish I did. Yeah. If you could bring back one dead celebrity, who would it be and why?
I would have to link back to the earlier question, favourite band. I'd have to
You say that.
Yeah, bring back Freddie Mercury. I think he was taken too soon. I think he had a lot left to give. I say he'll be 30 years next year. He's been dead, so it's 30 years of music and genius really that people have missed out on. There's obviously lots of other celebrities that have an equally big impact, but for me, that's my answer.
That's a good one. I'd like to see Freddie Mercury come back. That would be interesting. So, what is your favourite either step of the 12 steps or your go-to wellness tool when you're not feeling good?
I'll do both.
Okay.
Favourite step, and I think it's one of the most practical ones for me anyway, was give it time. Looking back, I was probably becoming unwell for quite a while. So to hope for come to a couple of sessions and you're sorted, you're better, you're going to never need any support again, was wildly optimistic, and it was never going to happen. So give it time. Use the 12 steps, use recovery. You will be in a better place. And again, to say that you will never need support after is wrong, really. But I think it's the most useful step for me. Wellness tool is dogs, really. My own.
Best wellness tool that ever did exist.
They are. Yes. If only they give it in pill format, really. But yeah, I find sometimes just spending some time with either my dog or his actual doggy mum, I find very useful. That's why the reason I wasn't looking at the camera, I was actually looking at the dogs at that particular time. So they were with me, and have been quite useful the last few months.
Oh, I need a dog. What is your go-to comfort food?
Probably KFC. In all honesty, I do like some KFC chicken.
What's your KFC order when you go?
It depends how we're defining when you go. If I'm just going for just literally a one meal at dinner time, I will tend to have a mighty bucket for one. But quite often, I will just uh, uh, go and get a family feast, and I'll just eat chicken for 2 days. Really,
That sounds amazing.
not the most healthy of comfort foods, but it's nice.
I don't think comfort foods are really supposed to be healthy, are they?
Not really when you sit
I
yeah.
don't think anyone goes, oh, kiwis. Kiwis are my comfort food.
There'll be some who come out with that.
They will. They will. I think this one's quite a nice one. What motivates you to work hard? That's a deep one, isn't it?
It is. I suppose it depends on what the end result's going to be. If there's going to be a positive end result, I can see the benefits of doing a particular job or role. I think that motivates me. If it just seems to be something to do for the sake of doing something, less motivated. But I think if it's
Visualising an end goal motivates you.
and it's got to be a positive end goal, and a good reason to do it. I think it's if you're going with the motivational theories again, we touch on the volunteer training. I'd go with Victor Vroom's motivational theory. I think that one's the most apt for me anyway.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Do you collect anything?
No, not actively, not anymore. I used to collect different things over the years. I used to collect whenever we went on family holidays or family outings. I'd get a leather bookmark. I got bags of those. For a time, I used to collect myth and magic characters, the pewter like fantasy dragons and wizards with little crystal balls. I used to collect those. But no, not anymore. I don't really collect anything. I gather a lot of things, but I don't particularly collect anything.
That bookmark answer leads me on to the next question. Where is your favourite place in the world?
Obviously, I can only say this about where I've been. I've not been everywhere in the world. I like Tenerife. The holidays that I've had there around the Las Americas area, I do quite like it. I like the sea. I find it quite relaxing and tranquil, and I could sit and watch the sea for quite a while. I do like to swim in the sea as well, but yeah, I'd say like the Las Americas area of Tenerife. I think that's mine.
What would you sing at karaoke?
Singing's kind. I'm tone deaf. I am absolutely tone deaf. I can butcher any song that you put in front of me. I did when I was younger. I used to go out quite a lot. We used to go karaoke nights at I think it was called the Victoria Hotel just outside of Hanley. Used to go quite often on a Friday and a Saturday. I would occasionally do Octopus's Garden by the Beatles, mainly because Ringo is a bit flat, so you can pull that one off a little bit better. Occasionally, Dwight Yoakam's version of Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Obviously, it's a Queen song, but again, the tone is slightly different than a proper Queen, so it sort
I
of
would pay to see this.
makes it fit. Well, you say that. Did actually get invited once to Chicago Rock Cafe. Again, we're talking 15, 20 years ago today. They were doing a karaoke night. I used to know the person who did the activities there. He basically invited me along, gave four free meals, just basically an example of how not to do karaoke.
Oh my gosh.
I do remember doing We Will Rock You for that one. It was bad. It was absolutely terrible.
I feel like I need to take you to a karaoke night now. I need to see this.
I am tone deaf.
I don't think anyone's tone deaf.
all the notes are there, but not in any particular order, I think is the polite way of saying it.
Oh God, that is too funny. That's brilliant. So Kris, give me 3 reasons why dogs are better than humans.
Well, the obvious answer is they just are, but I would go with loyal, always happy to see you, and no drama.
No drama. Good. But yeah, your first answer was the right one. They just are. So throughout lockdown or during lockdown, what has helped you or what have you learned?
Again, touched on it earlier on. I do think I live alone. I think having the dogs around were very helpful, and just another body around in the house. Just for the reasons we touched on in the last question. I can't say I've not learned a new skill during lockdown because we were working all the way through it, so didn't have that free time available that some people did. Quite a sad point of fact is the lockdown didn't impact on my life dramatically. Don't go many places, don't do many things. Did miss seeing some people. I know that's sort of a bit contradictory to some previous answers, but yeah, I do like to see some people from time to time. I'm not a proper hermit, but do find out that we can do a lot more things based from home than what we thought we could.
And that concludes our interview, Kris.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, though, I realised my life didn't change too much. I thought, oh, is that good? This really is my last question. So, what would your advice be to someone struggling with their mental health watching this?
It takes time. There's not one right way of sorting things out. You need to find things that work for you. Things that have worked for me in the past might be helpful for you, but they won't necessarily be the right things for you. Again, it's another good thing about the Changes peer support groups is you can listen to half a dozen people talking about what's worked for them. So it gives you the option, it gives you ideas of what you can try. And then if something doesn't work right for you, you can come back and talk about it with the group. Why didn't it work? Set things forward. But yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. There is a lot of help out there. It's just contrary to what you see in the news. Again, our local area, Stoke-on-Trent, is quite lucky with the amount of support that there is compared to a lot of other areas. It's a matter of finding it, engaging in it, sticking with it. And I think that's the hardest thing, sticking with it. It's probably taken years or decades to become unwell like you are now. You're not going to get better in a week or two. That's not what you're going to want to hear, but it is the actual truth. Don't get disheartened when you're still not feeling great in 2 weeks' time. You may need some medication. It might help you to get over the worst of what you're going through now. It doesn't have to be who you are going forward forever. You may never get back to exactly what you were and who you were before you became ill, but it's about living life now to the best that you can and making the most of it.
Absolutely stellar advice. Lovely.